It's a field back block, and that's
the guy that rolls his body around.
Mike Drop Sports.
The Pittsburgh Steelers give one of their star players on defense a nice extension and really set their back end of the defense up for years to come. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody, here on a Tuesday. It is a big time day here on the channel as the Pittsburgh Steelers make a tremendous move for a star player on the defensive side of the football, giving him an extension, 2 years, $12.5 million for star safety DeShon Elliott. And what does he mean to this defense? A bunch. This guy knows how to find the football. He's just simply a lights-out player when you turn on the All-22 tape. He was one of the Steelers' best defensive players, if not one of the top 3 defensive players for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2024, and some may argue the Steelers' best defensive player in 2024. But man, did he come in and come in hard with what he did in 2024 for the Steelers defensively after being signed in the offseason in free agency, coming in on a 2-year deal, giving him about $6 million total for that, a little over for those 2 years. Now he gets himself a little raise, about $3 million a year in terms of a raise, bumping his salary from $3 to $6 million per year on average annual salary. So what a big move, man. And I think the Steelers got him pretty damn cheap. We talked about it yesterday on the live show. We talked about how you had to figure out where you were going to sign him, when you were going to sign him, and when it made the most sense. And I think all of us on the channel yesterday, in terms of our conversations in the live chat, we talked about getting this deal done sooner rather than later, not waiting, not having to pay a lot more money. I think the Steelers saved themselves roughly $2 million per season. If they would have allowed this thing to go, they were rolling the dice, because DeShon Elliott could have had another lights out year for the Steelers and then been probably toward about $8 million per season. Instead, the Steelers were able to get it here, I think, on the fair market value price at $6 million per season with what DeShon Elliott was able to do in 2024. I mean, I think they did the right thing by not waiting. And I think the Steelers sometimes have a little bit of an issue of waiting a little bit too long. And I understand, the NFL's full of uncertainties, full of gambles, and it's all about timing and a little bit of luck, quite frankly. So the Steelers, they're a little hesitant sometimes on pulling out that checkbook and maybe overpaying or perhaps making a bad deal with somebody that may get an injury, but it's all a gamble. Again, you never know. And the Steelers this time, they didn't wait. They didn't take the chance. They didn't want to allow DeShon Elliott to have the opportunity to hit free agency in 2026. And I think that was a really, really smart move on their part, because you wanted DeShon Elliott in that building with what he did, and it wasn't something that you were going to be willing to part with. His contributions were great. I mean, this guy knows how to drive on the football. If you look at the tape and you look at usually where he's positioned and the way he can just drive on the football with his great field vision, and he is able to drive in there and break up passes, make stellar tackles, and that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, the stellar tackle part. When you watch plays like I mentioned last night on the live show about how he just drilled Conklin from the Jets when he caught the football, Aaron Rodgers delivered a dart to him in the middle of the field on a short pass, and DeShon Elliott was about 5 yards behind him and just drove on him and planted him into the ground. A big guy, and was able to just destroy him, blow him up, and it was absolutely one of the better plays I'd seen from DeShon Elliott in terms of tackling and just laying the lumber to somebody. And you gotta love that aggressive brand of football that you see from DeShon Elliott. Just things that don't show up on the stat sheet that he is able to do, I think, are something that you can't miss. They're invaluable, and you have to have it. And I think he's an excellent running mate with Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think the two are definitely good pieces to have in the back end of that defense. And we'll see if Minkah can have a little bit more of a productive year in terms of what shows up on the stat sheet for the Steelers. But DeShon Elliott, he was there. He showed up. He showed up each and every game, and I think he gave the Steelers a key puzzle piece, a key chess piece to move around on that chessboard when it comes to talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. 73 total tackles in 2024, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception, 6 pass defenses for Deshaun Elliott. So good, steady numbers, man. Definitely. And again, there's a lot of work that he does that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. His ability to cause pressure inside of the backfield when coming down in the box, being a blitzer, the speed in which he goes sideline to sideline. Again, just having a nose for the football in terms of being around the football all the time, whether that's making a tackle, being involved in tackles, picking up a fumble, getting an interception, just being around the football is just, again, so invaluable, guys. And I don't think a lot of people realize how important Deshaun Elliott was to that franchise last year. His regular season totals were 108 tackles total, 35 assists, 73 solo. Really, in my eyes, again, just always around the football. His career totals, 395 total tackles, 275 solo, 120 with the assists, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, 4 interceptions. Just a steady career from Deshaun Elliott in terms of what he's been able to do. 6 foot, 210 pounds, out of Texas. He was drafted in 2018 in the 6th round, pick 190 by your Baltimore Ravens. But this guy, in my eyes, after going to Baltimore, going to Miami, I think he's really found a home here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that's very important for the Steelers, for sure. And I think it's important for Deshaun Elliott. I think once he has that stability, which he does have now, getting that contract extension, running him through what that would be about 2028, maybe hitting free agency again in 2029. I think it gives him that security, gives him that ability to be comfortable, understand his system, be more integrated into that system as time moves on. And I think, again, being in one place, knowing you have security to be in one place, gives these players a sense of comfortability that, they don't always have. And I think that's going to be very important. And I think you'll see it show up in his play this season for the Steelers. So I expect a big year out of that safety duo in the back end with Minkah Fitzpatrick and Deshaun Elliott. I think you're going to see the Steelers utilize them in big ways. I think you're going to see the Steelers moving them around. You're going to see the Steelers making defenses have to guess where those two are going to be. And I think that's going to be a big time part of their defense, and really a confusing part when you're talking about dealing with opposing offenses. And I think they're going to have a tremendous amount of issues with those two, and they're going to be a nightmare to deal with if you're trying to game plan against the Steelers. Because yes, in 2024, I felt like they were really good, but man, just another year together to build that chemistry, to get that ability to move those two pieces around in a way that they don't even have to give each other signals or speak to each other. They're just going to know where each other's going to be. I think is going to be, again, invaluable, and it's going to show up on the stat sheet. It's going to show up in the win-loss column for the Steelers, and I think it's going to be real positive heading into this season. So we're in the dead part, really, of summer here, the what we football fans call football hell, basically. But this makes it a little bit easier to bear when the Steelers do something solid like this, and bringing in Deshaun Elliott for what was a tremendous value in my eyes. And again, I told you guys that range was going to be between $6 and $8 million, and the Steelers thankfully did not wait to where they had to pay that $8.5 million per season once he had another good year. I don't blame Deshaun Elliott for signing now. It gives him that security. But man, he could have bet on himself, but he didn't. He took the deal, and it worked out tremendously for the Steelers, and they got a fantastic deal here. And I think definitely it's going to pay off for them, and what a tremendous value that they got for Deshaun Elliott, the safety. Big things, man. Big things. And if you're a Steeler fan, be super excited about this. Be really pumped up about this because this is absolutely a stellar move, man. And Omar Khan should be applauded for getting this done at $6 million per season, about 12 and a half total over the course of the contract, but about an average annual of $6 million. And I think that's fantastic. And really, honestly, probably a steal for a guy that played so well in 2024. All right, guys, don't forget to join us tonight for Steel City Alive as we will break down this signing of DeShon Elliott. We will talk again about his importance and what he means to the Steelers defense and just what is going to happen, hopefully, on the back end of that defense for 2025 and just how important this signing was. So until then, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace, my friends.
Takes an approach as a coach. Let's go. Let's go. It's a field back block, and that's
He's the guy that throws his body around.
Mike Drop